2026 has delivered its share of dark, genre-bending films, yet one of the year's most acclaimed hits centers entirely on a flock of CGI sheep attempting to solve a homicide. The script comes from Craig Mazin. Before he adapted this story, his resume leaned into detailing nuclear disaster and the total collapse of society. He is the writer and creator of the notoriously bleak historical drama, Chernobyl. Moving from radioactive fallout to talking farm animals is a massive, unexpected pivot. Historically, placing animals in live-action settings carries a distinct stigma. Studios often treat these projects as cheap cash grabs, packing them with lowbrow gags and relying on the novelty of moving lips to sell tickets. On the other end of the spectrum, constructing a tightly wound murder mystery requires ruthless precision. It makes you wonder, which is the harder assigning for a writer? Dropping a comment below with your take might settle the debate. By forcing a genre often viewed as a gimmick to carry the weight of a technical puzzle, this film creates something rare. It treats its fluffy protagonists with absolute seriousness. The framework for this project started in 2005 with Leonie Swann's German novel 3 Bags Full. Producers acquired the rights. Mazin wrote the adaptation 10 years ago, and then it sat on a shelf. Hollywood executives couldn't figure out how to market it. The hesitation likely stemmed from the script's structural requirements. A functioning mystery needs intersecting motives and physical evidence that plays fair with the audience. To build that framework, Mazin looked directly to Agatha Christie. He used her classic, rigidly structured rules of deduction as the sun around which all the narrative parts revolve. Those rules demand a specific type of human ensemble. The suspect pool ranges from an incompetent local policeman to a razor-sharp lawyer played by Emma Thompson, establishing a formidable array of adversaries for the flock. This diagram maps how the story functions. The sheep understand English, but they lack human cynicism. To piece together the crime, they first have to observe these suspects and map their testimony against objective reality to identify a lie. As this tree expands, a secondary problem emerges. The sheep can uncover the truth, but they only emit bleats when humans are around. They have to find ways to lead the police to evidence without saying a word. The deduction works because the script assumes the audience can track a complex trail of motives without needing a simplified explanation. But logic is ultimately useless without genuine emotional stakes. The puzzle needs a reason to be solved. The drive comes from George Hardy, the flock's devoted shepherd. When he is found dead in the grass, the sheep are solving a crime while actively processing the sudden loss of their caretaker. The vocal performances avoid cartoonish affectations entirely. Actors like Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Bryan Cranston play the sheep as adults who process the world with a childlike literalness, encountering grief and betrayal for the first time. It requires the exact same tonal tightrope walked by George Miller's Babe. When the premise is this absurd, absolute unwavering earnestness is the only way to make the audience care. The idyllic setting heightens the flock's exposed vulnerability. The vast, peaceful expanse of the English countryside is interrupted by the reality of murder, forcing the flock to leave their safe haven. The calculating math of the mystery puzzle works in tandem with the genuine vulnerability of the animals. One provides the structure, the other the pulse. This balance resulted in a massive critical success. Reviewers are awarding 5-star ratings, and theatrical audiences are walking out in tears over a digital flock of sheep. The irony is that studio executives left this script untouched for a decade, assuming a talking animal movie couldn't hold this kind of weight. They underestimated the level of emotional depth that audiences actually crave. By filtering a crime through the perspective of literal prey animals, the story uses the ultimate symbol of innocence to expose the casual deceits and rivalries of human nature. As the sheep observe the chaos around them, the film proves exploring complex truths about life and death doesn't require dark, cynical realism. Sometimes the most effective way to reflect our own humanity is to remove humans from the center of the frame entirely. Tell us in the comments, what animal perspective deserves a premium cinematic treatment?